guys, and welcome back to another movie review. Today we are actually going to be reviewing The Black Phone, starring Ethan Hawke, and was written by Joe Hill. So sit back, relax, and let's start this review off.
Hello there, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and children.
So first off, right off the bat, this movie was actually directed by Scott Derrickson, who is the same director who did the first Doctor Strange movie. He's also done in Sinister, as well as The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Now, this movie takes place in the 1970s. If you know anything about the 1970s, from my understanding, is they didn't have any of the DNA samples, such as swab or anything of that nature, to help homicides, to help kidnappings, or anything in that nature for the police force back in that day. Now, this movie is actually written as a short story by Joe Hill. If you don't know who Joe Hill is, he is actually the son of Stephen King, which, if he has a beard, he looks basically identical to his father. Now, this movie is starring Ethan Hawke, and from my understanding is that is the only well-known actor in this movie. He basically plays this maniac who kidnaps kids, who kind of tortures kids in a way of psychological games, as well as he ends up, of course, killing the kids and placing them in and burying them, which you don't find out where, and I will not spoil for you. You just have to watch the movie all on its own. Now, this movie actually takes a different direction as far as what horror movies usually take. It has a mixture of both religion in there, as well as supernatural, as well as thriller, too. So you have those culmination of all those three things that's molded beautifully within the actual screenplay itself, within the actual story itself. Now, there are little minor gripes and grins within the actual story that I have personally. If you know anything about the movie, it is basically about this kid who gets kidnapped by Ethan Hawke's character, in which they call him the Grabber. And there is a little rumor that goes around within the movie that if you say the name the Grabber, you will be kidnapped by him. So the kid gets kidnapped by him, and there is a black phone in the basement of where he's being held captive. It's not connected to anything, but the phone rings. Whenever the kid answers, it's actually all the kids before him who died trying to tell him how to escape and trying different techniques, trying different things to help him escape from the actual basement itself, which is kind of interesting and definitely an interesting take. The little boy's sister, now she has an ability because she's, from my understanding, the only religious one within the family. She prays to Jesus, and because God has given her the gifts of foresight in a way, where she's able to see in her dreams where her brother is being held captive, where the story of the other kids who were held captive and passed away. So that's a great storyline within that character itself. The dynamic between the brother and sister is amazing. I personally would have wished that my sister and myself would have had that same dynamic as growing up, but they didn't really fight. The older brother was always sticking up for the sister. We also find out that the mother, too, of the kids have the same ability. So throughout this movie, the sister is dreaming about where her brother is located. Now, back to the phone. With the phone, the one thing that I will say that I kind of had a gripe about is the fact that you do see the kids beforehand. Now, you do see not really how they were murdered, but you see the after effects, such as like maybe one got bashed in the head, so he has blood coming down his skull, basically. One kid may have been strangled and such like that, so you may see the marking. So as far as that type of dynamic, that's what you see within the movie. Now, the gripe that I have is a lot of the kids through the actual phone conversation, they hang up. But there are there's actually only one moment where we see the kid in the background, and it looks like he gets sucked back into the hole, like sucked back into the spiritual realm, which I don't understand because he's the only character that had that happen to him. Everyone else was either hung up on, or when you see him in the background, they just kind of disappeared. He's the only one. So that was kind of confusing because do all the kids happen that way? And we're just not seeing it. The other thing, too, is the cops are, let's face it, the actual killer, Ethan Hawke's character, owns two homes. And he also, from the movie, it doesn't describe where he works, but it looks like he may work at like a Home Depot or like some kind of like construction place area. So very modern type home improvement type store, but he owns two homes, and his brother is staying with him as well throughout the movie too. But with all the certain types of character development that we learn about Ethan Hawke's villainous character, it just doesn't quite add up. Like, how can he afford two homes? The other thing too is, why do the cops, when they're doing investigating, why do they not find that out? Plus, they talk about black balloons that he leaves at the crime scene. Okay, well, he owns a black van, and there's a magician sign like on the side of it. There's a lot of things where you think logically that, okay, that makes sense with that, so why don't they just go investigate it? That just made the officers just useless. I mean, there was nothing to the actual officers themselves, because the sister is the one that, that finds the kids, that knows everything. And the cops are just, laying back and just telling everybody in the town that, we're trying to find him, we can't find him, or any of the other kids that went missing. So, that is a little bit that I had an issue with. Was it the movie entertaining? Yes. Do I recommend the movie? I mean, if you are a fan of Blumhouse, which Blumhouse is a production company that was created by Jason Blum, who's done the Halloween 2018, Halloween Kills, from my understanding, I believe Sinister, Insidious movies, I think The Conjuring, but I could be mistaken, but he's also done the Purge movies as well. So he has a great movie selection within his company. So if you're a fan of Blumhouse movies, I would definitely recommend it. It was definitely, you could tell it was a Stephen King type vibe from there. So yeah, if you guys like it, those types of movies, I would definitely recommend it. It did give me a few jump scares from time to time as well. As well as with the jump scares, it was moments in there where I didn't quite know it was coming, so that was good. Unlike many horror movies where you kind of have a quiet moment and you can feel a bass sound to it, where you're expecting something to happen, it didn't really have that, so the jump scares was more authentic, I believe. So yeah, if you guys want to go see the movie, I would definitely recommend it. Definitely see it in the theaters, or when you're home alone, or even home with friends, but also, watch it at night, because it gives it more of that scary aspect to it. Ethan Hawke, he's done some great movies just this year that's came out. I mean, there's The Northman that he was part of too. Amazing movie. If you haven't seen that yet, review is here too on the channel. Go ahead and check that out, because it is streaming on Peacock. But if you guys have seen the movie, let me know. What did you think about it? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What kind of movies do you like from Ethan Hawke himself? So a lot of questions. Leave a comment down below. Share this video as well, because sharing is caring, as well as with the YouTube algorithm. It does help out tremendously. So again, leave a comment below. Follow us on all social platforms. Give the shop, as far as merchandise store, a look at. There may be a shirt that you guys like there too. And with that in mind, have a great day.